Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on Android with Strato. And Strato has been delayed. We were expecting the release of Strato to be towards the end of the month here, or possibly into early 2024. However, the developers have decided to pump the brakes on this one, and I don't blame them. So their announcement says, after giving it some thought, we've decided to delay the release of Strato one more time. Unfortunately, this means there won't be a Strato release in 2023. We've been working on Strato for 6 months at this point, but we still don't feel we have reached the goals we set for ourselves 6 months ago. They go on to say, as things stand now, the texture rework is pretty much completed, but performance is still not where we'd like it to be. The rework has introduced some performance regressions that we haven't had time to investigate yet. And by delaying the release, we'll be able to look into why that is happening. And on top of that, they go on to say here they've let down the community by not being transparent enough about the issues they were facing and the progress that was being made. And they'll improve their transparency and communications with the community moving forward. Now, I've got a message to the Strato developers if you're watching this video. You don't owe anyone an apology. You're working on this emulator in your free time, for free, for the community. Take your time here, get it right, and release it when it's ready. Without developers, we've got no emulators, and without emulators, we've got no emulation community. We're going to have to be patient here, let the developers do their thing, and let's see what happens. As soon as I know more, you'll know more. And in the meantime here, we still have a really good Switch emulator on Android, Yuzu. Next up, we're going back one generation here and talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Mikage. And today Mikage says, with the holidays around the corner, what better time for a little gift? We present the first automatic graphics test suite for the 3DS. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to the YouTube video in the description below, and I do recommend checking this out. This is massive for 3DS emulation, specifically emulation accuracy. Even more specifically, 3DS GPU emulation accuracy. NeoBrain is trying to make Mikage as accurate as possible and building it properly from the ground up as opposed to scrambling to put it together and trying to fix things later. And I can't wait to see what they do next. And speaking about next up here we're talking about Splunky for the C64. Yes, this actually exists. It's called Splunky 64 and it looks very impressive. I'll drop a link to this YouTube video in the description below in the event that you wanted to check it out. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a release date just yet, but fortunately here they say the game will be available soon. So as soon as I know more, you'll know more. Moving on, and we're very quickly talking about Geometry Dash on the NES called famidash. We've talked about this one before, and it just got a brand new release. Now, it's worth pointing out that this game is far from finished, but the latest release here is called Demo 3, and it's titled Okay, yeah, we added orbs and color triggers. Cool. Polargeist is the only playable level here, but the other ones are present in the ROM if you're willing to hack the game. So the ROM for this game is available right on the GitHub site, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below. It's 100% free and it's also open source. Next up, we're quickly talking about Epic Games, and right now on Epic Games, Destiny 2 is 100% free. And it appears the next free game has leaked. It's anticipated it's going to be DNF Duel. Now, I own DNF Duel on Steam. I paid for it because I'm a sucker for fighting games, and for free, I would say it's absolutely worth picking up. If you played DNF Duel, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Moving on, and we're talking about Metacritic, and Metacritic has just put out its list for worst video games of 2023. I'll drop a link to it in the description below. Now, this is not a subjective list per se. These are the lowest rated games of the year. In 10th here, we've got Gargoyles Remastered with a whopping score of 49. Then we've got Loop 8 Summer of Gods with a whopping score of 49. Gangs of Sherwood with a score of 48, Hellboy Web of Word for 47, Crime Boss Rockhaze City for 43, and I notice I'm saying 443 as opposed to with a score of 43, so whatever here. Anyways, in 5th place we've got Testament, The Order of High Human with a score of 41, Quantum Error with a score of 40, Grey Hill Incident with a score of 38, Flashback 2 with a score of 35, And absolutely no surprise here. In first place, we've got Lord of the Rings Gollum with a whopping score of 34. I'm pretty sure everyone saw this one coming. Go on ahead, check out that article. There's a write-up for each and every game, and it's a very interesting read. Now, if there's a game you thought deserved to be the worst on the list, let me know in the comments below, and I may throw up a poll question on the community tab on this YouTube page. Moving on, and we're quickly talking about something I'm certain a lot of other people are talking about, and that's the massive Insomniac leak. It turns out almost 1.7 terabytes of data has leaked, including some very interesting sales figures and unreleased games. Now, most of the leaked information has started circling the internet and landing in various places, for example on Reset Era. They've got a thread here for the sales numbers for every PS4 and PS5 era PlayStation first-party game. And Reddit Gaming Leaks and Rumors has put together an entire list of everything they found so far, including a whole bunch of information about Wolverine, including actual footage, and a Ratchet & Clank game coming out in 2029. Moving on, and we're quickly talking about Linux, specifically the Raspberry Pi and Armbian. And Armbian today tweeted out, thanks to the flexibility of the Armbian build framework, we have added the capability to build server and desktop images for the Raspberry Pi 5. Taking a look at the Armbian website, and I can see the dedicated space for the Raspberry Pi 5. So if you're one of the lucky few with a Pi 5, feel free to check out Armbian. Moving on, and we're talking about Google. And back in September, I think, we talked about Google reaching a tentative settlement in their US Play Store lawsuit. I'll drop a link to this article in the description below, but basically here at a high level, Google was being accused of antitrust and overcharging customers. So it turns out they settled for paying an amount of $700 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. I'll drop a link to Google's article in the description below as well. As part of this settlement, Google has said they've grown their commitment to App Store choice by reinforcing the fact that OEMs can install a secondary App Store if they want. And this point really interests me, streamlining sideloading while prioritizing security. So instead of locking down on sideloading apps, they're going to make it easier, which is amazing. Moving on, and we're quickly talking about Ghost Trick Phantom Detective by Capcom. This game was released in June of this year and just got a brand new update you may be interested in. Capcom has removed Denuvo. This game appears to be pretty popular and has an overwhelmingly positive review score on Steam, and possibly will get even better now without Denuvo. Let me know your thoughts about Ghost Trick in the comments below. And last up here, we're talking about a brand new project that surfaced on GitHub. It's called Project GLD. It's a game library and launcher that offers LUA script compatibility for searching and downloading games. The latest update to this one is version 2.12. They've added a share system, fixed issues in the search tab, and improved performance. It is worth pointing out that this GitHub says we do not take the responsibility for potential consequences or the content obtained through the utilization of community-generated scripts. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and one fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.